Hello and welcome to Straight from the Train Ground. This is OVPL This Week, our inaugural show, a review show of each week's results in the OVPL. So we're glad to have that with you. We're in match week 2. I'm Jay. I'm joined along here with Ryan Wall from the Highlanders and Sean Eubanks from Northern Kentucky Nitro. And we also have the commission in the house. Brandon, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having us. This is exciting, guys.
Absolutely. So we hope to make this a weekly thing. So for all of you out there watching, all of you coaches, please send us in those results, get those things to us, and help along getting the word out to all of your communities on the latest results in the OVPL. So with that, I'll set things up here with Ryan from the West Virginia Highlanders. You had a big match over the weekend. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how it went?
Yeah, thanks. We traveled up to Cleveland. We played Croatia Juniors. We being our first OVPL game, we didn't really know what to expect. So it's kind of one of those early season kind of jitters a little bit. But for about 60 minutes, we did well. Croatia, I was aware that they kind of put their squad together a little bit late, so they weren't maybe as prepared as they will be later on in the season. But they were still a pretty stiff test. We ended up being 5-1 up after about 55, 60 minutes. Our striker, Richie Afalayanka, scored a hat-trick.
So, Richie, how did the game go today?
He was all right. We started well. We get ahead in the game. When we start, we move the ball around, and we started a little bit slow, but towards the end of the game was a little better, and we were able to do some good stuff and finish strong.
So, tell me about your hat trick.
I feel so great. I've been pretty working hard before we start the season, and I'm glad my effort is paying off right now. So I'm looking forward to score more goals.
So going forward, we're looking really, really good, and then a little bit of indiscipline on our side towards the end is, the way I look at it. Our guys could have done a little bit better, and we conceded 2 late goals to make it 5-3. Good to get the win, but definitely a few things we need to work on. And, we're kicking off our season, so we're pretty pleased with that.
Nice. Congratulations. So final result, 5-3?
Yeah, 5-3. And, like I said, it was really good for Richie, our striker, to get a hat-trick. He's been really on fire in a couple of preseason games. Great guy, great person to work with. And looking for good things this season with him. And I'm glad we got a little interview with him, too, to throw on here. So he's going to be a big player to watch this season, I think.
Absolutely. And then that was your first official match, yes?
Yeah, first OVPL game of the season, yeah. And we got one. We're coming back this Saturday. We're traveling over to Columbus to play OP, who, as you know, were the finalists last season. So it's going to be a tough game, and we're just building for that.
Nice. Well, congrats on the win. Sean, now Northern Kentucky Nitro.
Right. So we had our first game of the season on Sunday, and we hosted 1927 SC out of Fort Wayne. We had a couple of great points to this game. Jordan Jaksic came back. He got some minutes for the first time in 7 months due to his foot injury he sustained at the beginning of last season. So he was able to come back, which was great. I think that we put together a pretty solid roster this year. We saw it at times during the match, but unfortunately, I think we did play one of the strongest teams in the league on the first match day. I think both conferences should look out for 1927 SC. They were very strong, organized, traveled well, came out of the gate very strong for the first half and second half. Really strong right out of the gate. They had a good opportunity with a through ball in the second minute of the match, and only 5 minutes later, we conceded a penalty, which was saved by our goalkeeper, Serge Kakonda. But we really started out a little bit jittery, just like Ryan had said in his Highlanders match. Really started out jittery, kind of got momentum. I think we controlled, minutes between 15 and 30. Those were probably our best minutes of the match. We had a couple opportunities, couldn't put one away. And then going into the second half is really where we fell apart. Enrico Del Rosario, he started at right back for us, sustained a head injury in the first half. He decided he wanted to go back out in the second. I pulled him about 10 minutes in because he ended up having a concussion, but we didn't know at the time. And if you guys watch the second goal, we'll blame his positioning on that head injury because he was nowhere to be found in his spot. But the first goal, it really came from just wanting the ball more in the box. Serge cleared it out on the corner, made another save after they put it back in the box, and then the 1927 just got the rebound again and put it away. Defensively, we were awesome, but it just wasn't enough, and we couldn't convert those chances to steal a point or three from them. I think 1927 definitely deserved the win. I'm a little bit salty about how the game finished because 1927 SC really drained the clock down, took full minutes on goal kicks. The referee didn't enforce anything, no yellow cards for wasting time, and then stopped the game 30 minutes before the 45th minute. So not to say we were going to come back and get a point, but I'd like to finish the matches. So that's the one negative side that I have from that game. But other than that, that's how our debut went. I think that we have a strong squad and we can come back next week against Evansville.
Sure. Well, thanks. And like I said, long season ahead of all of you. I have here for 1927 SC, Frank scored in the 47th minute, and is it Bandiri, I think, in the 50th minute. Sound about right?
Right at the beginning of the half. So yeah.
Those are just the stats that I had. Yeah. And then, thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
One other result we have here from the weekend, AFC Ohio won 2-0 over Erie Commodores. Garcia in the 57th minute. And then a late goal in stoppage time, Sidglowski. So I apologize if I didn't pronounce the name right. But again, AFC Ohio 2-0 over Erie Commodores. So again, we're glad to have you here for just tuning in. Our very first ever OVPL review show, weekly show OVPL this week, where we're going to try to show some highlights and some stats of the results of the week in the OVPL. And we have with us again Brandon. So Brandon Ponchak, anything you want to add or fill in to our viewers, kind of summarize where we're at in the OVPL right now?
Yeah, so we only had one match on. Haven't covered this. We only had one match in match week 1. 1927 opened the season up with an 8-0 win over Cincy SC.
Okay.
Seth Maulmeister probably would be considered the man of the match. He had 3 goals and an assist. For 1927. That was their first ever OVPL match, and they played at home. Tacking on 8 goals is a good performance.
It's a good start. Good start out of the gate for your first game.
Yeah, just to add a little bit on, I didn't really add on our side of things. I do want to say it. Our other 2 goal scorers, Vitor Osuka was one of them, but also Keegan Daniels from Gallipolis, Ohio. He scored, and he's 17 years old. And he scored a good goal. So I just wanted to point that out.
Is that the youngest goal scorer in OVPL history?
He is top 3 officially.
Was it the Lexington Landsharks fella?
Yep.
He still has it? Yeah.
Yeah, we will have to check the birth dates on Keegan. Youngest goal scorer right now is Max Miller at 17 years, 7 months, and 8 days.
Yeah, interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, Keegan Daniels. So that's just want to say that. Also, the Ambassadors is AFC Ambassadors Football Club against Erie. That's interesting to see them. We played them in a preseason game, or played a group of them, and kind of both of our squads were a little bit diluted in a preseason game. And they've got a great setup there. They play out of Malone University, and one hell of a stadium or field, and a brand new surface, just fantastic. If you ever get over there, Sean, it's quite the setting. But yes, it's interesting to see them getting a 2-0 win. So,
well, we appreciate everything. Like I said, we hope to make this a weekly thing. So please tune in again for OVPL this week. And again, congratulations to the teams who competed this week. And I guess technically, Brandon, match week 1.5. But on paper and on schedule, match week 2. So best of luck to all the teams as they're getting started, very early in the spring, summer season for all the OVPL teams, obviously. So best of luck to all of them. Sean, appreciate you taking the time to update everyone from the Northern Kentucky Nitro.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. And Ryan from the Highlanders, keep up the great work over there in West Virginia. Brandon, anything you want to add there from the top of the league to our viewers?
What about OP?
Yeah, Ohio Premier and Erie Commodores had a 0-0 draw. We may have to do some talking about that one later at a later stage with some issues going on there. Also, additionally, you can't leave them out, but Valhalla FC played in round 3 of the USASA Region 2 Amateur Cup. Although it didn't go in their favor, they lost 2-1. Jacob Pokorski scored for Valhalla. Anders Michelson had an assist, and that had some very, very terrible issues going on with like 5 hours of delays.
Lightning.
Lightning and all that stuff. They restarted a match 4 times.
Gee.
They could get a game in, and they ended up getting in. Unfortunately, 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of the first half set Valhalla back. And it was a bit unfortunate for them as well, as their top goal scorers were on holiday. So
yeah,
a bit of a bummer.
As somebody who's played against Valhalla quite a few times, it is a different team when the Salos brothers are up top. I mean, they are. They players. Really, not only do they, score most of their goals, but on top of that, they create so much space for their teammates, and they just make everybody around them look better. Absolutely amazing players. So missing them yesterday, or on Sunday, that is, I think was probably the worst week for them to take a holiday, because I don't think they lose that match with them.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Well, again, thanks, fellas, for taking the time. We appreciate it. And again, look for us again next week. We want to make this a weekly occurrence. And again, I'm Jay, signing off here from straight from the training ground. OVPL this week, match week 2.
Visit our friends at Football Town for casual football wear.
Visit our partners at TractionSocks.com for performance grip socks created for all athletes. Use the discount code TractionSocks22 right now for savings.